Alright, I wanted to unbox something kind of interesting I got for the channel because of so many people asking to see this type of content. I decided to pick up something that was pretty inexpensive that will kind of fill that role. And I could have went with something a lot more expensive, but then I got to thinking about it. You know, a lot of these options for this caliber are like $900. I'm thinking most of the people that are probably into this caliber and requesting this caliber, more of those people are probably likely to have this gun versus something that's a little more expensive. So I'll show what I got here. A nice kel-tec case here. And I'll show the pistol here in a minute. Comes in this little bag. I have another pistol with me, my Ruger LCP and 380 ACP. What I got is something very similar. kel-tec P32. So I've wanted one of these for a long time because I always liked the idea of having the LCP. When it first came out, I wanted one for many, many years. And by the time I had an opportunity to buy one, the LCP2 was actually already out. But because this was such an iconic look and something I wanted for a long time, I went with the original LCP. This is technically the LCP1 version 2 of it, or generation 2. I got this in about 2018. And our kel-tec, you know, the LCP is pretty much a ripoff of the kel-tec P3AT, which is 380 ACP, but 32 auto. So, you know, I like this pistol in 380, but it is very hard to shoot. It has a lot more recoil than what you would think it would have. And, you know, the grip texture isn't that particularly good on it. You know, it slides around quite a bit. I've noticed on the P32, there's a lot more grip texture, and it wants to hold in your hand a little bit better. Plus, it's 32 ACP. So 32 ACP is going to have a lot less recoil than 380 from what I understand. I haven't really fired one of these before. This thing weighs like, I want to say 6.6 ounces, something in that vicinity. Is very, very light. Comes with Metgar magazines that hold 7 rounds. So that's one advantage of the 32 over the 380. You have 7+1 versus typically 6+1. I do have an extended magazine for this, but it does come down pretty far. But I went with the flat base plate on my Ruger here to compare it to this, so you could see the differences here. You know, so total capacity of 7, total capacity of 8. So I'm going to take my first shots with this thing. I did bring out some Aguila ammo here, 32 automatic. These are 71 grain full metal jacket rounds. And I've heard a lot about this pistol. I've actually watched quite a few reviews on this, and I want to see if what a lot of people are saying is true or not. Some of the things I've heard, they're repeated by multiple people, and pretty much to sum up what they're saying is they're saying that the kel-tec P32 is not accurate beyond 7 yards. You can't hit the target beyond 7 yards, whether you just can't hit it because the poor sight radius, which it does have a very poor one, it's almost no sights, or some people were saying that the bullets destabilize beyond 7 yards out of a pistol like this. So I'll see what I can do. I'm going to fire out paper from 7 yards, and then if I'm accurate with it, I'll back up a little bit more. So let's do our first shots with this. I did clean this, and we'll see how this thing runs. All right, 7 yards from the target. I did rack around in this thing, so we have a capacity of 8 in here right now. Let's see what I can do from 7 yards here, see how this thing shoots for me. And it does have a last round hold open, which the LCP does not. One annoying thing about that is you can't, you know, push it forward until you remove that magazine, then I'll let you drop that forward. So that first shot there, I thought I missed the target completely. I just barely hit on the edge there of that you know, 6-inch circle I have there, but the rest of those shots are not too bad overall. So let me load this up and shoot some more. All right, let me go for some headshots. I'll try to slow this down just a little bit. It is very cold today, so it's hard to do this, but we'll see what I can do. right, I would say not too bad for what it is. I'm not seeing any type of accuracy that would indicate destabilization at this 7 yards. Let me back up a little bit more, and then after that I'm going to shoot the steel and see how these shoot for me. All right, I'm 10 yards from the target. Now from this distance, a lot of the reviewers were pretty adamant that you would not be able to hit a man-sized target at 10 yards. Obviously, if I'm hitting, a fist-sized group at 7, I don't think that's true. But let's try from 10 yards, center mass, see where these things go for me. All right, so while there may be some truth to what people were saying, that it's not particularly accurate, at 10 yards my group isn't bad. It's just, I would say, 6 inches low and left, but not a bad group overall. So yeah, you can hit your target at 10 yards or 7 yards. Let me back it up a little more, shoot the steel, see if I can continue to make hits with this thing. All right, so this pistol is clear. I did notice that I really can't fire this thing with a gloved hand. I mean, I probably could if I just used my fingertip, but my finger definitely does not fit in that trigger guard with a glove on. It's not a particularly thick glove, so that may be an issue for some people. But I'm at my 25-yard marker here. I don't know if I can make any hits with this. This is, 2.5 times as far as where I just shot from. So let's see what it does for me from 25 yards. I'll keep in mind that it does shoot low left a little bit. Honestly, not too bad for what this is from 25 yards. I'm not really sure where that miss I had went to. I didn't really keep an eye on where it hit in the leaves, but I did aim probably 3-4 inches high, 3-4 inches to the right to make those center hits. They're not nearly as drastically off as what I thought they were going to be based on my 10-yard accuracy. So it's continuing to shoot, so let me back it up a little more. All right, I'm at my 40-yard marker. A lot of people say this is ridiculous, but if it can hit the target, there's nothing ridiculous about that. So I don't know about this. This is quite a bit further than what a lot of people say this is intended for. They say it's only good for 3 feet, but 40 yards, we'll see what happens. So, about what I would expect, to be honest. I'm not saying I'm the best shot in the world, but I've shot a lot of stuff from this distance, so not too bad overall. Those first couple of misses, I actually was aiming a little bit to the right and a little bit high, and I thought, well, that's not really playing out like I thought it was going to. So then I just aimed center mass, and then I made at least 50% of those hits aiming center mass. So you guys know where I'm going now. 75 yards, why not? Let's just see if I can make a single hit with this from that distance. All right, 75 yards from the target. It's pretty cold out here, so I got my gloves on. I'm gonna see if I can get my fingertip in that and make this thing function. I don't know if I can make any hits here. I'll predict maybe I'll make 1 out of the 8 that's in this. Not really sure. I'm gonna try to keep an eye on where these are going though, where they hit in the leaves. So maybe I can make some adjustments. So let's see what I can do from 75 yards. All right, it hit just a little bit just a little bit to the left, but the elevation was right. I aimed at the shoulder area, and it looked like it hit, you know, about here on the silhouette, but to the left a little bit. So let me try one more time, aiming in that same spot. I'm not supposed to be able to do this at 225 feet because the max range is 5 feet, I've been told. I didn't see where that one went. That one looked like it'll hit a little bit right low. Didn't see. A little bit low left. Let me aim a little bit higher. So I'm honestly astonished that I was able to hit even a couple hits, because that's not normal for something like this. Now I do think Buffalo Outdoors, a lot of people say I'm a good shot. He's twice as good of a shot as what I am. I think he could do this more times than what I can do, but I'm still patting myself on the back thinking, hey, this isn't too bad for this little 32, 75 yards, especially if there's basically no sights. And my vision's getting worse as I age. I'll keep going here. Okay, that one hit kind of weird low, like I was aiming at the head and it, you know, it hit below the target in a way that would suggest that it was kind of tumbling around a little bit. All right, so I just kind of gave up trying to hit there. You know, it is getting a little sporadic. I think I could have done better if I would have slowed that down, but there's really no point to showing this. So what I'm seeing overall is this kel-tec pistol. You know, I just went through 50 rounds. I didn't have a single issue with malfunctions at all. You know, and you know that grip texture is a little bit better than the LCP. And you know, this is how big this pistol is compared to my hand. You know, I have a hard time squeezing into 2XL gloves sometimes because my palms are kind of wide and my palms are kind of thick. But overall, for its size, it's actually a lot more shootable than the LCP 380. The issue I had with that is because the grips are so small on pistols like this and so thin, is a lot of times what will happen is I'll essentially limp wrist. Even though I'm holding it tight, it wiggles around too much in my hand, which will kind of cause some of those same type of limp wrist jams. My hand is not small enough to get a true grip on that thing. But with this, not only do we have a little bit better texture, but by going down to a 32 ACP, you're reducing that recoil, and it kind of doesn't matter what you do, it'll still shoot pretty well. Not necessarily the best gun for somebody that has, you know, weak wrist or anything like that, because it is kind of hard to rack that slide there. But overall, I'm very impressed with this because its capabilities are a lot more than what a lot of people say they are. Its accuracy is a lot better than what people say it is. And I would say overall did pretty well. So we'll have to move on to our next test, doing some ballistic testing to see how this thing does. And we'll see how it does. But as far as it is now, I'm pretty impressed with this. So that's first shots fired with this, and a good, you know, unboxing of this to see how it does, and did pretty well. So that's what you get today. So as always, comment, share, and like, and thanks for watching.